Good afternoon everyone. Well, you can see what's happened. It's been a really hot day here in October and one of my hives has swarmed. At the moment it's just gathered around a small citrus tree, so it should be an easy one to recover. Anyway, what I'm going to do is go and get a box now and sit it at the base of the tree, and I'll see if I can get the bees to walk in. We'll see what happens. I'll be back in a few minutes when I'm all set up. I've set up a box with frames of foundation just in front of the swarm of bees, and as you can see most of the sheets are actually undrawn foundation. Hopefully the bees will like that. And one thing I also did was to take a frame that contained a lot of uncapped brood. You may not be able to see it, but there's uncapped brood in the centre of that frame, and what I'm going to do is place that in the box sort of towards the centre. Now if I just put the lid on that, and I'll position that in a minute. What I'll do now is put on a glove. I'll take a handful of those bees and throw them down towards the front of the hive. Now the bees should be able to smell the uncapped brood and the honey, and they will tend to want to migrate into that box, and they'll have a tendency to stay with that young brood because they won't want to leave the young brood unattended. So I'll just get a glove on and I'll see if I can get some bees to start walking in. Back in a sec. Back again. I've got a glove on now, and if I just reach in and throw some of those bees towards the front of that hive, hopefully they'll start marching in. And you can see some have already started to move. It's a little bit hard, the light's not overly good, but the bees will smell the honey, they'll smell the young brood, and hopefully they'll start marching in. I'll stop this video for a few minutes, but I reckon the bees should start marching in within the next couple of minutes. I've literally only stopped filming for about 30 seconds just to break away a couple of those branches, and you can see the bees are already starting to march in. So all is going according to plan. It doesn't always work out this easy. Much more difficult obviously if the swarm is high up in a tree, but in this case just on the base of this citrus tree. Every year bees seem to come to this particular tree. It could be the citronella oil, or it could be the residual smell from previous years. Anyway, we'll see what happens. And they're all marching in quite well now. It's a little bit like lemmings really. Once they decide this is going to be home, they just keep on following each other in. Even the bees up high now are starting to turn around, and they'll start following the rest of the bees into their new home. The bees are continuing to march in, so I may as well leave them for about half an hour. And I might head inside for a cup of tea and come back and check on them. If everything's okay, I'll close the box up, lock them in, and I'll move them to their new location just later on this evening when all of the bees are at home. I'll get back in a little while and we'll see how they're going. About an hour and a half later, most of the bees They're actually moved from the tree, and the majority of them are inside the box. There's still a bit of a smell from the pheromone from the queen, and as that starts to subside, the rest of the bees will move over. I think I'll leave this hive here overnight, and I'll be back in the morning to pick it up. Thanks for watching.